Hello there, my Captain Play guys and gals. This is Captain Playguy, here with the 3-year Playguy-aversary. 3 years this channel has been going. For this year, I want to do a 50 random personal fun fact extravaganza. Before I continue, I just want to say that I'm also going to be streaming today at roughly 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope to see you there. Fact number 1. I am a military brat. It's one of the first things that I tell people, but still I think it's definitely noteworthy. Made me move around a lot during my childhood. Fact number 2. My favorite genre of music is metal. Now this came from my mother and father actually, they both are pretty into rock and metal, so I still kind of use the music to rebel during my teenagerhood, but I've been listening to the stuff since I was in the crib, basically. Fact number 3. The pets that we've had so far in our family have consisted of a golden retriever, 3 hamsters, 2 chicks, and a poodle. Now, this is gonna get a little bit of sad stories here, but with the golden retriever, he ended up getting run over because we didn't secure the back of the truck properly. The first hamster that I had, lived a good long life for hamsters, 2 years. And then I got my next one after that. That lasted about 5 months. And it actually died on the same day as the chick that I had. They both died on the same day. Both of the chicks never made it out of chickhood. And then the third hamster was my sister's. Lasted even less than the second hamster. Thankfully, the poodle is still alive and strong. A cute little puppy, even though he's like 7 years old, maybe going on 8. Fact number 4. Several friends of mine from high school are actually Let's Players as well. I've got my friend Leo Soda, who transformed into Tempest Demon Arashi. I've got a friend named Kyle, who did a gameplay video with a few of his friends. I don't know what he's done to progress from there. And then, perhaps most notably, Sergeant Cloudrunner. He does a lot of PC games. Really surprised when I found out that he also did Let's Plays. Fact number 5. The first instrument that I ever played was drums. It was Christmas time. I was about 7, 8 years old. And one of the gifts that my parents got me was those little kid drum sets. That's just a bass drum, snare, tom, and a crash cymbal. I don't remember much about playing it, but my mother tells me I loved playing on that. Fact number 6. The first instrument that I ever took lessons on was guitar. This was during 8th grade. I got myself a cool electric guitar. I was taking lessons at a local guitar shop, and continued that when I went to high school. Moved for high school, really, because military brat. Fact number 7. I am a professional drummer. And I'm using professional in the loosest term here. I actually got to play with a band 10th, 11th grade. And I was paid for it, like 40-something bucks, months after the gig. But, it was a great time, There were a lot of people gathered. I saw a lot of my friends from the high school I was going to there. And I remember the day that I took place on was 11/11/11. Yeah. And one more thing. The band I played with was called Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Cookie if you get what that means. Fact number 8. I am majoring in accounting. Yes, I am studying accounting. I'm a really fun guy. I shouldn't be going into accounting. I am going into it because I feel like it's a realistic job that I would not hate. I've done accounting classwork before. I've taken accounting classes in college. It's definitely something I could do. Fact number 9. I once took an accent quiz online and I got some interesting results. what it came down to was, it boiled it down to 3 places that best resemble my accent. And it was, I think, San Jose, California, San Antonio, Texas, and Pembroke Pines, Florida. So, from that, best I could gather is that I was kind of Southern. I kind of don't have that well-defined of an accent because I'm a military brat and I moved all over the place. But I guess it is kind of Southern. Fact number 10, I have an older sister. She's about 4 years older than me. She actually got married during the past summer. And yeah, you know, we're pretty close. You know, she likes to game as well, but she's a PC gamer, you know, PC Master Race. Fact number 11, I got the inspiration to start writing in middle school. Now, this started off as sort of like a revenge plot thing, where I was kind of falling behind in my English class, and I see that and I'm like, oh no, that is not something that happens. You know, I'm a really good student. So I concocted the idea in my head to write out a story and like try to get it published to be able to show my teacher, see, I am not bad at English. You know? And you know, I think that stuck with me since, you know, just kind of like, yeah, I've had enough of analyzing your stuff, analyze mine! Fact number 12, as a young kid, I really didn't like loud noises. I remember going to see Ice Age in theaters with earplugs in. You know, I was just sensitive to that. I'm definitely a lot better about it now. I don't know if it's really an issue anymore, although I still kind of jolt a little bit when there's a loud or sharp sound. Fact number 13, for my 10th birthday, my dad took me snowboarding. That is one of the funnest memories I have with him, and it was just a blast to go down the hill, right up the slope, right down again. It was really... It's something I haven't gotten to do since, sadly enough. Fact number 14, I skipped 4th and 5th gen Pokemon. What happened was that, you know, I had the Nintendo DS, but I ended up selling that because, you know, the DS library just felt too stagnant for me. So I didn't have that many games for it. I don't know when I sold it in comparison to the release of Pokemon Gen 4, so... Fact number 15. I first played Pokemon Crystal during one of my moves. We were moving from North Carolina to Maryland, and I was 6, 7, and I asked to get a game to play on the way there. You know, I was looking around, and I managed to spy a copy of Pokemon Crystal. I had no idea about Gen 2, I hadn't heard anything about it, and, you know, I picked that out, and, you know, I played it pretty much the whole way there, and it was just a blast. It was one of the best moves that I had for transitioning. I remember one morning, it was early in the morning when my Cyndaquil first evolved in Kvalava. I think it was in the Bellsprout Tower. Oh, nostalgia. Fact number 16. To this day, I have never encountered a random shiny Pokemon. Only shiny that I ever had was the one that they give you in Pokemon Crystal, the shiny red Gyarados, which I used in my first playthrough. Just freaking come on, it's a red Gyarados. Why wouldn't you take that? Fact number 17. I once threw up at the dentist. I was about 10 years old, and, it was a regular dentist visit, and I was gagging quite a bit, and, the dentist just kept on doing her work, and it just, eventually, I couldn't take it anymore, and it was Oh man, it was awkward afterwards, but I still look fondly on that because it was just so hilarious. And then I remember on my next visit there, I had the same dentist, and every single gag, she was like, nope, nope. Fact number 18. I threw up on the day that I got my first Nintendo DS. So let me explain this here. You know, it was a half day in middle school, and half days in America, you know, usually are about cheap pizza, you know, for lunch. And afterwards, went with my mother and my sister to GameStop. You know, this was back before I knew, you know, and we picked up the DS there, you know. And, you know, I got into Super Mario Bros. With it, and we're driving back on the way home, you know, I'm just so excited, and I think we got McDonald's on the way back, because I ended up throwing up just kind of like out of nowhere into some kind of bag, which I think was a McDonald's bag, and it was, Fact number 19. My first DS was a special Mario edition. You know, it wasn't too different. It had a bit of a different design to it, and it had a sticker on it that was like the M on Mario's cap. Really cool. Went really well with my New Super Mario Bros. DS game. Fact number 20. With my first DS, I only compiled a library of 3 games on it, which were New Super Mario Bros., Star Fox Command, and Kirby Squeak Squad. I've since gone back, played a few other games on the DS, which I am grateful for, because there were some pretty good games, you know, utilizing the touchscreen well. Fact number 21. I participated in a Brawl tournament the night before its release. So, you know, I'm in like 8th grade. This is way back when, of course. And it was at a GameStop. And it allowed me to be able to play Brawl a little early, you know, just before it released, you know, because I couldn't get to the demo that was all the way out in Los Angeles. But anyways, you know, it was a real blast. I won a few matches. I think I won 4 before I got knocked out, and it was just awesome. I tried playing as Olimar first during that tournament. And then I switched over to Pokemon Trainer, who was definitely a lot more accessible. And, you know, and then I picked up my pre-order, and it was awesome. Fact number 22. My first Sonic game was Sonic Adventure DX, the Director's Cut. Now, I actually got first introduced to Sonic by a cousin of mine, who had, you know, a GameCube with one of those attachable screens so that you could play on the go with it. You know, I was really jealous of that, or should it be envious? In any case, that was the first game that I ever played. I played it a whole bunch. It was a lot of fun. Fact number 23. I am currently on my second computer. You know, right here on my desk. It's the second computer I ever owned. First one that I got was back in 8th grade, and that lasted me about 5 years, I believe, because it was, I got my new computer when my Pikmin LP started, you know, right before that. So, you know, it's definitely been a long road, you know, with just 2 computers. Fact number 24. I used to have long hair, as some of my friends know. I had that since middle school, and I had a beard for roughly over half of high school and during my first year of college. I actually ended up shaving during the first year or after the first year of my college career. And then just this past summer I had my hair cut because I just felt that it wasn't practical for the climate I was living in. Fact number 25. I can snap with both hands. Fact number 26. I traveled halfway across the country to attend my current college. I didn't want to go to the local college because I didn't want to. I didn't think it would meet my standards. So I applied to this other college, one that my father actually attended, and I got in. Yay! Fact number 27. My favorite flavor of ice cream is mint chocolate chip. For me, there's just no contesting that. I love mint, and I love the chocolate chips. Fact number 28. I ate Nutella before it was cool. Where you kids were having your PBJ, I was having my PBN! Yeah, like, I definitely remember eating Nutella as a kid. I guess it's a European thing. You know, my mother's Polish, so... yeah, I got some goodies before they were popular. Speaking of which, fact 29. I am Polish, Irish, English, and German. You know, that's my ethnicity, if you will. Yeah, I'm pure white. Fact number 30. During college, I came to dislike the traditional breakfast foods. You know, with college at the cafeteria, you know, the food was in the morning. You know, it's early in the morning, people are working, blah, 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 blah. You know, I still like waffles and pancakes. Bacon is fine, but just everything else I don't want to do with it. You know, I prefer to have lunch as breakfast. That's how it's come to be in preference. Fact number 31. My favorite musician as a kid was Weird Al Yankovic. He was the predominant artist during my childhood, and that led to me often hearing parodies before the actual songs, and I love parodies as a result of that. You know, like, I get to hear the cool song parts of it without getting the stupid pop parts. Not to diss the popular songs, because some of them are really good, but I just love parodies better. They're meant to be funny. I just love them. It's a blast. Fact number 32. I hunted turtles during middle school. Back in middle school, we lived in a house where the backyard was connected to the lake. You know, we had the dock and everything, and you know, there was at the dock, you know, it was low just enough so that I could grab in and grab a turtle. You know, what I would do is, like, I would throw some dog food out, wait for the turtles to, like, come closer, and I would just be sitting there waiting patiently, and then BAM! Catch one, and, you know, later on, my family bought me a net to be able to catch more turtles and catch them faster. And I actually ended up, you know, doing a sort of marking system to see which ones I have already caught. I remember there was one turtle in particular where it actually had a physical deformity where it looked like just, you know, the arm, and then it would split into like two lumps, you know, kind of like the end of a bone, you know, in fiction. And then there was another one that would it was always swimming like this, you know, with its left side towards the bottom. You know, very interesting to see. Fact number 33. Throughout middle school, I had this special silver necklace that I had, you know, and at first it was just a turtle, and then, like, a year or 2 years later, I got another turtle, and eventually a lion added onto it. I actually think I lost one or two of those during a tubing round with the family, you know, going around the lake. And, you know, when middle school ended, I took off the necklace. I ditched it, really. Fact number 34. My first memory, which is pretty questionably false, was of an incident involving cutting my nails. So, let me explain it to you. My mother was trying to cut my nails. You know, I was a real young kid, 3, 4, since this is my first memory. And, you know, I'm trying to get away. I don't want her to cut my nails. And she ended up accidentally cutting me around my leg. What I remember was having a rather deep gash in the form of a plus sign. You know, which, you know, it sounds really exaggerated on my memory. And I remember we went to the hospital, and there was like this like wrap that the doctor put on. It was kind of like a firm metal grating, you know, with some bandaging on it. And then we got back home, and my mother went to take a nap, and she reminded me that the doctor told me not to take off the wrapping. I remember the TV was on, there was a cartoon playing, and little kid me started unwrapping the wrapping that was on my leg. I think I do have a scar, around where it was, but it's definitely not as pronounced as everything else. Fact number 35. I had an incident where I got frustrated at being stuck in first person. This should tell you that I was a pretty weird kid, but I remember one time, soon it was in the same time period of my life as the first memory that I just explained, where I was looking into the mirror and I was getting frustrated because I couldn't see myself in the third person. I could only see myself in a mirror. And, I think my mother picked up on my frustration and asked me what was wrong, but I didn't know how to express myself, so I ended up blurting out, "I wish you could see yourself." Fact number 36. I have some really weird dreams. I've even done Inception. I've had dreams where I've gone to sleep in my dreams, and on at least one incident, having a dream while I was sleeping in the dream while I'm sleeping. And like that dream, the deeper dream ended up being a nightmare, which woke me up from the second sleep, which brought me back to the first dream. If you can follow that. Fact number 37. I rented Majora's Mask with my sister when we were real young, back when it was due, and it ended up scaring us both quite a bit. And she's like 4 years older than me. That's saying something. For me, what got me was the masked transformations. It's really creepy because you put it on, you hear all these cracking sounds like bones are getting broken. And then there's that just distorted scream followed afterwards. And for my sister, what got her is she would go into this panic when the moon is looming over. It's the last day, and she's like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Majora's Mask, not for kids. Fact number 38. I first heard about the current video editor that I use, Pinnacle Studio 14, through a small class that was being offered at a rec center where I was going to high school. My mother knew about my video production hobby, and she heard about this in some way or another, and she told me about it, and I was like, you know what? No, I'm doing just fine with Windows Movie Maker. She kind of insisted on me going through with it. And I'm glad that she did, because, Pinnacle Studio, miles ahead of Windows Movie Maker. We met in these 3 weekly sessions. The first week was filming, and the second week was focused more on editing, and then the third week, I was the only one to show up out of a group of 3 kids, and I was just, taking a look at some other things with Pinnacle Studio, and, I liked it a lot. I got it for myself, and I've been using it since. Fact number 39. I once got 100 on a final for a college class. So here's how it went down. I'm taking this class as a summer semester class. We go through it 6 weeks. And it's the very last day of the summer semester. And, we're all gathered in the room, and we're waiting for the professor. We're waiting. And, it's finally like an hour later when a colleague of our professor tells us that he had gotten into a fender bender and was still waiting on police. So he relayed to the class, go home. Everyone gets 100 on the final. That is perhaps one of the luckiest things that has ever happened to me in my life. However, this might be luckier. I once got a B in a class where I did nothing for the final project. Now, this was in high school, where, you're kind of bullshitted with, this is back in high school, so, and we had this big final project that we were supposed to do over the course of the entire semester or the entire year, and I did nothing for it. I did not care. You could not get me to care about that. And you know what? I passed with a high B. I think it was like 88, and I got exempt from the final for that class because I got commended on the related area for the statewide test. And that's how our high school worked. You could be exempt from a final if you had 90% or above in the class, or you got commended on the related area on the statewide test. So, bam, yeah. Screw you, high school biology. It was cool and all, but screw that final project. Even though I don't know what it was like, I did nothing for it. Screw it! Fact number 41. I wrote a fantasy novella in high school. It started off as just like an image of this map, in which the story took place during 8th grade, around the end of the 8th grade year for me. And I started writing it up on my move over from middle school to high school, going between states, of course. And, I picked it up on and off throughout my high school career, and I finished it in about 2.5 years. It ended up being like 74 pages, which, if it were condensed into a book, might have been like 150. I don't know. In any case, I'm proud to have done that. Now, how many people can say that they finished a book? It's been a good leaping stone off of other ideas. Fact number 42. A few game series that I have never played a single game from are Mega Man, Final Fantasy, Metroid, Earthbound, and Fire Emblem. Fact number 43. My high school music theory teacher actually beat me at Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Now, this was back when I was like, I was good at it. I was like semi-pro. And, I'm not sure when in relation it was to when Lagfest 1 happened. It might have been afterwards. He was really good at Super Smash Bros. Brawl. He was kind of a young guy, 20s, late 20s maybe. Like in the room that we were in, there was this huge projector screen that we used, and it was just awesome. Kind of hurt my neck to crane it looking up, but it was just a spectacle. Fact number 44. My first ever MMO game was Guild Wars. Now, I got introduced to that by my sister, who got introduced to that by my cousin. Different cousin. And, we would go questing sometimes, but I ended up playing that mostly alone. I just got so into it that I got all 3 campaigns for it and the expansion pack. I beat all 3 campaigns in due time with at least one character. And I believe it was about a year ago when I finally finished the expansion pack. I've logged in about 700 hours ever since middle school, I believe. It was a long road, and I do want to come back to it. Fact number 45. I acted in a high school film that was being done by one of the other students. I'm not going to say what it is, so that you can, look it up and then see me without my sunglasses. Ooh, I found it without sunglasses! I'll just tell you what it was about. It was basically, we were a bunch of kids in an acting class, and we ended up getting trapped by a ghost that was haunting the school. And one by one, the ghost kills us all, and the role that I played was this sort of goth, kind of emo kid, that was just, Surprisingly enough, I ended up being like the 4th to last one to die. Imagine that. Fact number 46. During high school, I participated in several activities at my church. This was to get volunteer hours that, a lot of colleges want kids to get nowadays. So, I did a lot of work with assisting at Sunday school. I did a couple of, I acted as Jesus Christ in a couple of the plays going on, reenacting the Last Supper and the Passion. And, I was, towards the end of it, I was a lector, actually. I got a book, with readings for particular days. I would go up, I would read, and, ever since from the start, I was getting compliments about it, just how well I spoke and I read, and I guess it's a blessing from God. Fact number 47. My blood type is AB negative, one of the rarest in the world. I think there's like a blood type that's even rarer, that's shared by only like a few dozen people, but it basically doesn't matter. Among the world, it's actually the rarest of the common blood types. Fact number 48. When I complete an LP, I store all the related files onto CDs. I had like this rack of CDs that I can just burn stuff onto. And, I have it set so for each CD they act like a USB, so I can just pull files out, put them in with ease. Before, I was just keeping them in there, all the CDs and use, until eventually I just got a CD case to be able to put the stuff that I completed on it, and that's just got all the stuff on it. That's the videos, that's the thumbnails, that's related imagery, all sorts of different files related to it. Fact number 49. My zodiac signs are Pisces and Dog, Greek and Chinese respectively. I'm not sure how telling this is of my personality. I'm not gonna deny or confirm anything either, no matter how much you ask it in the comments. So just take it with a grain of salt. And fact number 50. I'm heterosexual. It's true, but that's not the actual 50th fact. The actual 50th fact is that I was first introduced to voice work when I was about 10 years old. What had happened was that, like, I was a kid, I was doing my reading for school, and my mother introduced me to books on tapes, or rather, reintroduced me to them. And, she kind of egged me on, saying that I had a good reading voice, so we actually had a few cassette tapes that I could record on. And, I remember recording, and I was reading from one of the Hank the Cowdog books, yeah, that's basically how I got into voice work at all. Just trying to do my own books on tapes. Imagine that. Well, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed the 50 random personal fun fact extravaganza. I really hope to catch you guys during the stream that I'm going to be doing later tonight, which is Skyrim. It's a knife-only run of Skyrim. It ought to be a lot of fun. It's not patched either. Anyways, thank you for joining me for the 3-year Playguy-aversary. This is a huge milestone, and I really hope to keep on going with this. It's been a lot of fun, even though I'm playing Bad Rats right now.